Welcome back to Walsall Fan TV for the preview of Stevenage Walsall. What do we know about Stevenage? The best way to do this is to talk to one of their top fans, Matt Farley. So he joins us. Hi, Matt.
Hi there. How are you doing?
Good, mate. The season is not going as well for us as it is for you. That is a certain. Our summer has turned into winter. I think
it feels like that, doesn't it, at the minute?
It does. Now, Stevenage, having a super season, aren't you?
Yeah. Do you know what? Do you know what I say every single week? We're living in a bit of a dream, really. It's just I can't get my head around the position we're in with 13 games to go, and the possibility of going up. I mean, it never really, has come to me the whole season. It's just we've been just over the moon with our position and experiencing new things at the club in the new era, which we never thought that we would this season. So, yeah, look, it's absolutely incredible. We're third. We've got 13 games to play. 13 cup finals is what we keep calling them. And, yeah, we just can't wait to hopefully be able to achieve something that I think all of us at the football club never would have imagined back in July. So, yeah, it's been an incredible season. We've had some incredible moments, in the FA Cup as well when we beat Aston Villa. That was one that will live long in the memory. So yeah, look, we're having an incredible season.
The manager of yours is, I think he adapted to this 5-sub rule quite well. I think we saw when you came to the Poundland Bescott Stadium that you sort of threw all the players on at the end and sort of really went for it. I think that's been a theme for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. And by the way, I remember it so well because it was the 100th minute leveller. And that was one of the highlights of our season. I don't think I've ever seen a Stevenage team score in 100th minute. So I remember the day. And it was so hot. I don't know if you can remember it. It was like 40 degrees in the ground.
Yeah, it's a nice warm one, wasn't it?
Oh, my God. I was sweating buckets. But, yeah, he has. I think one of the things that Steve Evans for us has got kind of so well this season and has done brilliantly is he's kind of built a team where every single player is a starting player. We don't really have any reserves at the club. So he has this ability to bring and make 4 changes at half time or 4 or 5 changes with 15 minutes to go. And it just changes and shakes up the games for us. So, that's been a massive component to our success this season.
I think for that game, sort of looking back in the glorious summer, our manager, Mike Flynn, got some criticism there because it was a sweltering day, as we recall, and he didn't make any changes. And it was Walsall had got the lead and were trying to see it out, and the pressure was just building and building and building. And we'd had a good start to the season, and we were thinking it was going to continue. And then you did us in the last minute. And then the very next game was the same again. We were playing Grimsby. We'd got the lead at Grimsby, and they equalised late on and then got a second goal. And we lost the game. And that was so frustrating, really. In recent times, has the bubble burst a little bit for Stevenage? Because you look clear to be first or second. I think last time we spoke, you were sort of riding high. But I don't know about the wheels coming off. But I mean, it's sort of you've dropped a few points lately, haven't you?
Yeah, it's been a tough. It's been a really tough month and a half, I think, for us. We had all that success in the cup, and I think coming out the back of that, I think it's probably done a little bit of harm. But I think what's kind of done it really for us is we've had some injuries to some really key players in the squad. Key players, more so the back line.
The keeper, haven't you? Injury to Anderson.
We've had a crazy one with the goalkeepers because Tay Ashby-Hammond's our first goalkeeper. He's been the goalkeeper that's played all season. He tore his cartilage, so he's not back to April. So then we got in Jokkel Anderson from Exeter to come in as a lone keeper who's really good. And then he played 2 games and then done his arm. So we were like, so we've had to get another lone goalkeeper in, who's not as good as those two. So we've got really unlucky in
You're
that
not
respect.
playing. You're not playing Sibek, are you?
No, we're not. We're playing saving. Bridgebeck's on the bench. He hasn't played.
Sibek isn't awful.
Sibek, yeah, he came on against Newport in the last 10 minutes because that's when Yockel got injured, but he hasn't played. It's been Toby Saving that we've got on loan from Accrington.
Yeah.
So yeah, what's happened very simply is we've had injuries to key players, and I think what's happened is Steve has tried to change the team so many times that it's caused a little bit of an unsettlement with the side. And there's certain players like Dan Sweeney, for example, who's been brilliant for us this season.
Oh, yeah, Dan Sweeney.
His performances have dropped the last few games because he's had to play with 3 different right wing backs in 2 weeks. It's just there's been a little bit of an unsettled side there. So that's all it's been. No, we've obviously we haven't had the best run of form. We beat Wimbledon last Tuesday, and then we thought, yeah, we'll kick on now. And then we lost at Rochdale. So
that was I've had we do League 2 predictions for the running. I did it last season, and we're doing it again this season. That one caught us out. I don't think
we were terrible. It was
predicted,
yeah, it was a really bad performance last week, and I think that's when we saw that the team has been quite unsettled a little bit here. So I think for us, it's very simple. We've got to get back. We know that we've got the injuries, but we've got to get back to playing the starting 11 and just changing the players that are injured for players that can come in. And I think if we do that and we don't make too many changes, I think we'll be fine. And I think we'll turn it around. These 2 home games we've got are huge. We've got yourself and got Crewe on Tuesday. They're like cup finals to us because if we can win them, we've got an incredible run of games after where we play all the teams around us. So, yeah, I think we'll be fine. But, yeah, I'd put down the kind of little bubble bursting almost. I'd put it down to that, really.
Yeah. I think Carlisle have had a tremendous run of form, haven't they? They've got into second. Northampton had a bit of a wobble and they're sort of back on it. Bradford, they're looking very, very good at the minute. They didn't do much against Walsall on Tuesday, but Bradford are looking strong. Stockport, when we saw them play, we thought they'd be winning the league. But they've had a bit of a wobble, similar to yourselves. A loss and 2 draws last 3 games. But they're going to be up there around about. So Stevenage need to be careful, really, because the pack is closing. And if they have any more slip-ups, you're going to end up in playoffs.
Yeah, no, it has seemed like that.
It'd be criminal, really.
That's it. I mean, it's crazy. I was saying to a few of the chaps actually a few weeks ago, we were like 14, 15 points clear of 8th, and now it's 5. So all those, it's ridiculous. Honestly, all those teams have caught up. So for us, actually, the game against yourselves is even bigger tomorrow because I think there'll be quite a lot of postponements because of the snow and the weather.
Yeah.
And I think actually tomorrow will actually end up our game in hand because we've got a game in hand against a lot of the teams around us. So it's looking like the game against yourselves tomorrow will actually be the game in hand now. So it looks even more kind of bigger than we first thought. But yeah, like we're only a point clear of Northampton now. That was 9 points 3 weeks ago. So they've all
I thought you were going to catch Leighton Orient at one point, but Leighton Orient on a bit of a wobble as well.
Yeah, I think they had like I think when we beat them, so we beat them 3-0, and at that time back in January, again we thought that we'd catch them because we were only like 2 points behind them, and they lost like 3 games in a row, and then won a couple, and then they're going through a little bit of a bad patch again. You always know it, don't you? With League 2, I always find that when you're getting into the last 10 games of the season or near enough, a lot of the top teams will start dropping points and a lot of the bottom teams will start picking them up. It always happens.
Yeah.
So I think that's just the scenario of it, that you've got all the teams up there, including us, that have all dropped points. And a lot of those bottom teams are picking up points, like your Rochdales, for example, and then it will turn again. It makes it exciting. I love it personally. But yeah.
Just got one of the guys on the chat, Dan. What's the weather look like in Stevenage?
Good news, it's absolutely fine. So the game will definitely be on. I think the club tweeted a picture of the pitch and it looks like a carpet. There's no snow. It's
that's it. Further south, it is warmer, isn't it? Generally, so,
it is. Yeah, and really, it's just been like it's rained all week. The snow hasn't settled. It's just been like it's rained. But the pitch looks absolutely terrific. Yeah, the covers aren't even on because it's not that bad. So yeah, the game will definitely be on.
Ah, brilliant. Okay, because we obviously with Walsall, sort of similar to yourself, had some games in hand. And when you've got games in hand, you look at it and think, well, if we win our games, we're going to be fourth, and then fifth, and then sixth, and now it's like, okay.
Yeah.
So we've drawn 7 out the last 8 games, and of course lost to Barrow, which was a disappointing one. So there's generally a team that comes late on and makes a surge for the playoffs, and we thought that would be Walsall, but right now it don't look like it. To be honest,
do you know what? I actually so I went on I do like the EFL debate with Gabriel Sutton every week, and Gav gets me on, and I get to go on there and just talk about us and how well we're doing. It's really, really nice for a change, because normally you go on and I'm like, we're getting relegated, Gav, and so it's been quite nice this season. But we were picking, I think it was about 3-4 weeks ago, we were picking sides that we think would make the playoffs. And I actually picked yourselves because I thought when you got Jamil Matt, when you got Jamil Matt and Matty Stevens, we know Matty Stevens and Jamil Matt, they played for us. I actually I did a show at the football club in COVID when no one could go to the games. And Matty Stevens was on loan to us at the time from Forest Green, and I actually had Matty Stevens on the show, and I spoke to him off the camera, and we exchanged phone numbers. And so I know Matty really well. He's a really good striker. So when I saw that you'd signed him and Jamil Matt, I thought, my God, I tell you what, they could come with a late run possibly, because them two are, they're prolific goal scorers, them two on any given day. So, yeah, I actually picked you to come with a run to make it. So hopefully we'll see. You never know.
Obviously, the Danny Johnson situation has sort of derailed us. Sort of Mansfield sort of was trying to sort of hold us at gunpoint almost, saying if you wanted him, sort of thing. So I don't think that was ever going to happen, because they saw us as big promotion contenders as well as them. So I can understand that. But then, as you say, when Jamil Matt and Matt Stevens rolled up, it was like, blooming heck, this is the perfect combination. But unfortunately, Matty Stevens, coming off an ACL, he's not really back up to fitness. And Jamil Matt hadn't been playing that much for Forest Green. I couldn't understand it, because the goal scoring that Jamil Matt and Matt Stevens had last season.
Yeah.
Why would Forest Green let him go?
Yeah, I know. I thought this as well. I mean, Jamil Matt, Matty Stevens, I mean, they were 2 of the top goal scorers last year, weren't they, in the division? Yeah. So
20 and 27, I think, something like that.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I think Forest Green are going through a really horrid period, aren't they? Where they've had a change in manager.
Yeah, Edwards left, didn't they? That's it, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you have a change in managers. Managers warm to different players, and they don't warm to certain players. So that might have been an issue. But yeah, I mean, to get Matty Stevens and Jamil Matt together, who pretty much got Forest Green promoted last year, that's a massive coup. But as you say, Matty Stevens did his ACL, so he's coming off the back of that with not a lot of football, so that can have an impact as well, I think.
And I think they've been a bit unlucky as well. Jamil Matt, he hasn't had many chances, but he's been a bit unlucky as well. He's had a few chances that have just not quite happened for him. And with any striker, it's about getting going, isn't it?
Yeah, we've had it with us this season. We've had certain strikers that go through rough periods. Like, for example, actually, we've got Danny Rose at the minute. Rose is the one that scored the 100th minute goal.
Thanks for reminding me of
that. Sorry, I'll always just throw it in there now and again. But by the way, you're not the only one. Every pod I've got onto, they've always gone, pick your top 3 moments of the season. I've always included the 100th minute leveler. But no, he's been going through a bit of a rough patch recently, and we've been saying he just needs a goal. Just needs to get a goal, get going, get a couple of games where he can get scoring, because he's such a good goal scorer. So, we've had it with us this season a little bit as well, especially with Danny Rose.
Yeah, Luke Norris is doing well for you, isn't he?
He is. Yeah, Luke has. It's a bit of a weird one with Luke, because at the start of the season he scored a penalty against Stockport, but he didn't have the best starts to the season. Again, our other strikers, so Danny Rose, Jamie Reid, they had better starts to the season than Luke Norris did. But Nozza, the last 2-3 months has been starting to play really well. He's getting back into his stride. He's scoring goals. I think he's got over 10 now for the season in all competitions.
12, Luke Norris.
Yeah, what was that, sorry?
12, Luke Norris now.
Yeah, 12. I think another one to throw in there as well, who isn't our striker, but he's an attacking midfield player, is Jordan Roberts. Jordan Roberts has got over 10 as well for the season. So we have got some goal scorers in that final third. Jamie Reid
isn't it? Jamie Reid, is it?
Yeah, Jamie Reid. He's having a decent season. I think he's got 6 in the league, and then I think he's got another 5 in other competitions.
Yeah, I'm just looking at 9. Jamie Reid, 9 with 5 assists.
Ah, bingo! There you go. Yeah, nearly 10 on the board. So yeah, we've got goal scorers. We've got players up there that can put the ball in the back of the net.
Goals from all over. Carl Piagiani, 7 as well. So that's it. Goals from all areas.
Yeah, Pidge is. It's crazy with Pidge actually, because it's crazy to think he's nearly our top goal scorer, but from set pieces, he's just. I don't think, and I'll put money on this, and maybe the other Stevenage fans can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Carl Piagiani has lost a header from a corner. I'll put money on it. I don't think the guy has lost a header from a corner. I think there's been corners that he's won and scored, and there's been corners that he's headed and nearly scored. I don't actually think he's lost a header from a corner. So he's been an absolute coup from set pieces.
Nice consistent delivery then.
Yeah, ball goes in exactly the same way. We've got Piagiani. Sweeney scored a few from corners. He's got about 4 or 5. From corners and free kicks, we're a massive threat with those players in there. Yeah.
Well, at Walsall, they've adopted the long throw-ins and that sort of thing, which is a big frustration because nothing happens on them. Just throwing it in, straight to a centre half every time.
Trust me, we've been there for 4 years. Honestly, we know how it feels.
Against Barrow, I got a couple of clips which I shared on one of my match reactions. At the end of one of my match reactions, I looked at some of the pieces of play that just weren't working, and every ball coming into the box was cleared by a Barrow header. And this one ball into the box, there was 3 Barrow centre halves fighting over it to head it clear, and not a Walsall player in sight.
Typical League 2 football, I call that. That's typical bog standard League 2 football, I think.
Oh. So it's been. The thing is, we're on a fan chat last night, and things are better. But when you have a good run, you think, this is it, we're going to go for it. And then when that sort of falls apart, it's sort of deflated. Football's all about sort of emotions, isn't it? And you sort of get all excited when they win a few and get all depressed when they don't.
You do. I mean, we've probably had it with, we've definitely had it with us this season because we've been in the top 3 pretty much the whole season. I think almost as a fan base, we got a little bit carried away as well. And I think I was looking at us after we lost against Rochdale, and I kind of just said, you know what? If someone would have said to us at the start of March, with 13 games to go, we'd be 3rd place. I wouldn't have believed it. So I've been kind of saying at the minute, if we do it, incredible. It'll certainly be the greatest achievement I've ever seen at Stevenage Football Club, considering that we got relegated technically 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But if we don't do it, it's one of those things. No one expected us to be up here in the first place. So I think we've had that at the club recently where we've got a little bit carried away, lost a few games, and everyone's a little bit disappointed. But then we're thinking, well, hang on a sec. We're 3rd with 13 games to play. We need to be brought back down to earth a little bit and just enjoy it. And if we do it, we do it.
The playoffs is always a fun time, regardless. Obviously, you'd love to be 3rd, but I mean, you could quite easily be in the playoff mix, which would still be a fun end to the season, wouldn't it?
Yeah, do you know what I mean? And oddly, I have to say, actually, me and a few friends at the football club, we've booked to go on holiday, and we've booked to go on holiday for a few nights. 3 days after the playoff final. So we were saying actually it would be quite convenient if the team actually got promoted via the playoffs. We won at Wembley and then we went away 3 days ago. That would be class, yeah.
Oh, that's perfect. What are you thinking for team news for you guys then? Anything we need to be aware of?
Well, I think first of all, I think the three players that are injured at the minute for us. So Tay Ashby-Hammond, Luther Wilding, and Terence won't play. They're the players that have been missing for a good few weeks. Luther played a bit at Wimbledon, but I think he's been a bit sore recently since. So those three won't play again. But I expect Steve to have learned from the mistakes of changing the team too much. And I think around those injuries, he'll play the starting 11 and he'll go with the players that should play, like your Jake Reeves, Jordan Roberts, Alex Gilbys that have played all season. Those three are League One players. I think that he'll give Danny Rose a game tomorrow. Rosie needs a game. And really, I think he'll play the goalkeeper that is in on loan at the minute, Toby Savin. I think he'll go Kane Smith at right wing back. It'll be Sweeney, Tompkinson, Piergiani and Clark making the back line. So I think Steve will try to go with the starting 11 without the injuries tomorrow. I think that'll be the side. And yeah, that's what I think he'll go with. But I think the lads that have been injured for the last few weeks will still miss out tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah. You talk about injuries. I think for Walsall, there's one particular player, Joe Riley. We bought him from Carlisle, and he was one of our marquee signings, really. Got injured in pre-season, has not played all season. Yeah. And it's one of those, if injuries can completely derail you. Maybe last season, Connor Wilkinson getting injured as well. He's like the top earner at the club. And so being without him for the whole season as well. So, and then there's a couple of other injuries as well. So we've been unlucky. But hey ho, it's one of those, isn't it? You have to adapt to it. And
look, we've had it. I mean, unbelievably, we're third at the minute, and pretty much our best striker actually, Elliot List, who we've had for a couple of years. Listy had a great pre-season. He just come back from I think a niggle in his hamstring last season. He had a great pre-season. He scored in every pre-season game he played against Derby, West Brom, Peterborough. He scored in all those games. Looked brilliant. And then we played Tranmere on the opening day when we won 2-1. And he looked brilliant. He went clean through, missed the chance. And then he did his ACL. So we lost.
So you've had the same then, really?
Yeah, we lost Listy on the opening day. He hasn't played with us all season. And we look and we think, my God, we've had this success without Elliot List, who's arguably our best striker. So it happens in League Two. You just got to adapt to it and change things, really. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we sort of rode the injuries, but most teams have had players out and that sort of thing. It happens, doesn't it?
It does, unfortunately, yeah.
Just before I go on to Walsall team news, Harry Draper, did we talk about him before? He's a player that got released from Stevenage. And he's doing quite well in non-league. I think it's a player Walsall were looking at. What do you know of Harry Draper?
I'm pretty sure Harry Draper, the striker as well, the tall lad. Young lad who was I think he's about 6'4", actually. He's quite a tall striker. Thinking about the right one. Yeah, he just I just think for him he was just never at the time that we had him, he was never good enough to play League Two football. So I remember last season he played in the pre-season, scored a couple, but he was just, you looked at him and you thought he's a non-league player. He's not really a football league player. He might grow into one as he gets a bit older. But I think at the time when he was at the club for us, he just wasn't good enough to make that step to play league football. I think that was really clear from our point anyway.
Okay. Team news for Walsall. I think you probably have noticed Walsall's defence is very, very solid. I think we're sort of equal second best defence in the league. That's Donovan Daniels, Manny Month and Hayden White, largely, with Owen Evans in goal. Hayden White has got a bit of an error in him. He might slip out to right wing back, and Joe Lowe, who's on loan from Bristol City, he might come back in for this one. He's a big, solid lad. On left wing back, Liam Gordon, he'll probably continue there, but he's one that we're a little bit worried about on occasions. Brandon Comley will be protecting the back three in the CDM role, and then we're likely to have Maddox and Hutch, who are our creative guys going forward. With up front, possibly Tom Knowles. He was playing up front and gone back into the right wing back role. But if Hayden White comes across there, he might play up front alongside one of many, really. Connor Wilkinson's getting back to some kind of fitness. Jamil Matt's been out. I'm not sure whether he's going to be back. Matt Stevens, again, he's been out for a couple of games now. I'm not sure whether he's going to play. Andy Williams, the old-timer, he might get a go. And then you got Douglas James Taylor. He's, for minutes on the pitch, he's our most productive player. But he just never gets many games. He scored a great goal against Carlisle in the Cup to put us through in the FA Cup. So that was an excellent finish. So up front, I have no idea, really. I think I would like to see Matt and Stevens in there, but I think it's likely to be perhaps Knowles and Connor Wilkinson, I would think.
Yeah.
So match prediction from you?
Well, anyone that knows me knows I'm the most positive Stevenage fan. So there's no way in the world that you'd ever get me on any podcast saying Stevenage are going to lose. It just won't happen. Even if my team were the worst team 2 years ago, and I was still believing we'd go to Forest Green and win. So it's not going to happen. I think for us, if I'm being honest, I think we've had a real tough time the last kind of month. Picked up 5 points out of 21. I think someone said we were like 22nd in the form table of the last like 6 or 7 games. But the team went into Sunday. We lost at Rochdale. They had a team meeting on Sunday. Steve Evans pulled the whole squad in, the whole setup in for a meeting Sunday. I think they'd have had a meeting. I think they'd have sorted it out. I think we'll get a win tomorrow. Look, I think it'll be a tough game. Always is in League Two. I think we'll win, but I think the players will be playing the way that they were playing that made us so successful at the start of the season. So I'm going to go with a 2-0 win for us. I think we'll get back with a win at home and get back with a win for the team tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay. For me, Walsall, we're sort of the draw specialists at the minute. So I wouldn't be surprised to see another draw, maybe a 1-1. I'll go for a 1-1, I think. I think I've got that on my predictions. A win for Walsall would sort of give us a hand of trying to finish top half, which we were hoping for top 7, but we're hoping for top half now. That is a bit of a change of view. But now it's good. And we'll leave it there. And good luck for the rest of the season. I hope you guys make it.
Oh, cheers.
But we don't want to do you any favours tomorrow. Obviously, we're trying to salvage something of the season and make sure we don't finish any lower than we are now.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Yeah, but no, look, thanks for having me on. It's been a pleasure. I always love coming on and doing these and having a little chat and stuff. But yeah, no, look, best of luck for the season. I'm hoping that you guys get into the top half. So yeah, no, fingers crossed. You never know. I mean, so one of the lads was saying to me the other day, they said, God, if we don't make the automatics, imagine playing Walsall or someone in the playoffs. God, that'd be funny, wouldn't it? Coming and doing this in May again. But no, best of luck for the rest of the season, definitely.
Yeah, cheers. I don't think we're going to be in playoffs this season, but hopefully we're just building for next season. If you stay on. I've got a bit of a question for you. But, for all the viewers, thank you very much for watching. The joy and the pain. Or I'm changing that now to a little bit of joy and a lot of pain. That's what we've been getting. So thanks for watching Walsall Fan TV. Like, subscribe and all that business. And follow us on the journey. Thanks for watching.